Coming up in this edition of the news, National Security Coordinator, Office of National Security, Abdullahi Koka, has strongly warned residents of the Western Area Rural District to refrain from lawlessness, criminality and indiscipline that lead to instability. The National Social Security and Insurance Trust (NASIT) embarks on a project to construct its first district office in Moyamba. And Sierra Leone has been unanimously endorsed by the community of Sahel and Saharan states for its bid for a seat in the United Nations Security Council in the non-permanent category. These stories plus more are lined up in this edition of News Hour, but first let's take our coronavirus preventive message.
You see where them people here wear the mask they find? Well, now so you say for wear your mask. Cover your nose and you must all time where you dey near other person.
Get yourself vaccinated for coronavirus. We start with our first news item. A coalition of NGOs and CSOs has started a campaign calling on bilateral partners to cancel Sierra Leone's public debt. As at the end of 2020, the country's debt, including external and domestic debts, amounted to $30.71 trillion, just over $3 billion. Lawmakers were among first group of people targeted to popularize this venture. Our parliamentary correspondent Joseph Ture has.
The issue of public debt, financial experts say, has a serious effect on Sierra Leone's economy, as most of the revenues generated by government are used to service debt. Presenting the report on Sierra Leone's debt, National Coordinator Budget Advocacy Network Abubakar Kamara disclosed that the country is at high risk when it comes to debt. 30.71 trillion loans as public debt noted should be everyone's concern, including members of parliament.
They recommend that the country debt should not exceed more than 65% of GDP. When it exceeds more than that, then it means we are moving to something unsustainable. And quite recently, the IMF Debt Sustainability Analysis report make it clear that we are now at high risk of debt, which means we are able to pay, but we are now paying at a very high risk.
He presented a strong case why the nation's debt should be wiped off.
As a small nation going for an economy to contract by 15%. In 2020, we also have the Ebola hit. Of course, again, the economic growth reduced by 2.2%. And of course, I've mentioned it earlier, as of 2020, our debt is bigger than 2019-2021 models. Again, 43% of our domestic revenue is going towards servicing debt. And what's happened? It will shrink the government space to have the fiscal space to invest on key social services like health and education.
But Executive Director of ActionAid Sierra Leone, Fode Basiswari, was found on the issue of accountability and transparency of debt.
We want to demand reporting, transparency, and accountability on the use of special trade rights from the executive arm of government. Honorable members of parliament, we know parliamentarians have an important role to play in setting a legal framework for an oversight, overseeing public debt and debt management.
Members of parliament, despite their political affiliation, saw the issue as a national concern.
A child born today has the responsibility to pay a debt of over $400. And if we don't find ways to ensure that this burden is the last of us, definitely we'll just compiling debts.
The current status of our debt is not because of the nominal figures of what was collected. It is about the exchange rate fluctuations. Because as you already presented, some of these debts are taken and buffer zone is given, say, 5 or 10 years before you start paying.
The move to galvanize support at local and international platforms for Sierra Leone's debt relief is a call many believe should be embraced, as public debt is considered as a major hindrance to implementing development projects. SLBC, Joseph Ture reporting.
Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, has embarked on a project to construct its first district office in Moyamba. The move will ensure that the same is closer to the people in local communities. Jonathan Turner witnessed the handing over of the building site to Sewa Ventures Limited and Josie Mom Limited for the construction of the new office and staff quarters in Moyamba district, and he now reports.
Before the commencement of the building project to construct the first NASIT district office in Moyamba district, residents of that part of the country had to walk many miles to access NASIT headquarters in Freetown or to the regional office in both districts to settle their anomalies or receive their retirement benefits packages from the scheme. The development of the NASIT office and staff resident quarter in the district was in a bid to expand coverage and bring the scheme closer to its members. Residents of Moyamba district are very appreciative for such improvements in their districts.
We thank God that government is doing such a big project for us, and we are grateful to government, we are grateful to President and his government that we are going to be the first people, first district to get NASI's office in this country. So it's a historic thing. We are very much happy, and we thank government for such a very beautiful project that is now going to be erected here.
It's supposed to be simple now, just after retirement of you, or sometimes you are constrained to go to Freetown. Now, if I'm saying now 65,000 to go into Freetown, if you're not about to take your money into NASIT office, you constrain. So for now, because God have already come with a grace for us in this community of Moyamba district here now, I'm talking, I'm very, very happy for me.
NASI's Director General Mohamed Fadabo said he was very desirous to establish an office in Moyamba district, noting that the proposed office will reduce the challenges residents faced to access the scheme.
It's constructing regional offices. We realize that business needs demands that we should now go beyond regional offices. And having looked at all, we have assessed the needs and the relevance of the district in terms of NASIT operations. We came out to believe that Moyamba stand tall to have a district office. So on this site today, we have handed over to Sewa Construction Company in Josimon. It's the very first district office ever in the history of NASIT we are constructing.
Moyamba district is one of the growing districts with one of the biggest mining companies in the country, a university, and a good number of government and private sector employees that needed to be catered for. With the proposed new district office in Moyamba, it's expected that residents and beneficiaries will be able to access the social scheme at any given moment. The contractors that are in charge to construct the district office and staff quarter, Sewa Ventures and Josie Mom Limited, say they will complete the project in June 2023. For SLBC News, Jonathan Turner reporting.
The Sierra People's Party, Turkey Northern Cyprus membership recently held its general meeting in Istanbul to establish the Turkey Northern Cyprus Charter. The meeting was geared towards discussing pertinent issues relating to the charter and plans towards the party's victory in the upcoming general elections in 2023. The chairman of the meeting, Dr. Abu Kamara, stressed the necessity to have a chapter in a strategic country like Turkey. The Deputy Ambassador in Turkey, Paul Ansumana Mina, appreciated organizers for the occasion and pledged on behalf of the embassy to support the chapter. President Julius Marabio, Deputy Ambassador Mina further stated, is one of the very few heads of state who has very close relations with the President of Turkey. Frank Davis, commonly known as Coach Prima, spoke on the weak membership drive of SLBC in Turkey compared to active membership of other registered political parties in Sierra Leone. Other members spoke on the need to start financial contributions to enable the chapter to carry out its planned activities. The meeting concluded on the need for every party member to intensify efforts to bring on board more members. 84 selected grantees for the Skills Development Fund project have gone into a mandatory orientation workshop on how they should use the fund, which will be given to them as a build-up and improvements for their various businesses. The workshop was held at a Cypher Court Hall of Kiaman Road in Freetown. Fatima Kamara was there and she now reports.
The Acting Director, and please, ladies and gentlemen, put your...
In order to create jobs in the labor market for youth, the Secretariat has selected a second set of grantees in the Skills Development Project 2022, where 323 individuals applied and 84 were successful. The workshop, according to the grant specialist, Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, Saliu Bari, was for them to have a clear understanding of what the project was about and how they would utilize the fund.
We want to make sure they have good idea as to what the project is about, what the project objectives are, how they should utilize the funds so that they don't spend it on things that are not relevant to the project.
After various processes like providing concept notes, submission of proposals, amongst others, grantee went through in applying for the Skills Development Fund project. 25 billion loans in total will be given to successful institutions.
We are giving about 25 billion to these institutions. Yes, distributed to, they have different amounts, the highest being 525 million and the lowest 118 million. So it's distributed to various institutions and they have specific numbers to train. And they should train these people. If they don't train all of them, they will not get all of the money.
According to the representative from National Youth Commission, Golo Kata, this project is meant to empower youth and transform them to be useful citizens in the country.
This project speaks to His Excellency the President, retired Brigadier Julius Marabio's mantra around development. The medium-term national development speaks about human capital development. That's why it's not education for development. The critical aspect of it is that we want to support the young people of this country.
Addressing the participants, the representative for Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, Abdul Abubakar Senesi, said the Skills Development Fund project is an opportunity for them to improve their businesses. He also encouraged them to put seriousness in the project.
You may have looked at money elsewhere to invest into your business, train more people, create jobs for them, or even allow them to go and create another job. So if you are going to begin this project now with that business like mine, then this money will serve, will be like a seed money to you. This is the money you should have for somewhere else to come and invest in your business to grow it.
The Skills Development Project was slated to run from 2018 to 2023, will benefit about 20,000 individuals in various skill sectors like tourism, mining, fisheries, agriculture, and the construction in ICT in Sierra Leone. This project is owned and funded by the government of Sierra Leone and the World Bank. Fatima Kamara, SLBC, Freetown.
President Julius Marabio has called on the people of Babnongo-Babulon in Bond District to work and live in harmony, and promised that his government will work towards all plans the late Paramount Chief Jonathan Baki Kabakabatoka III was yearning for in his chiefdom. He said this while making a statement at the memorial mass of PC Toka, who died on the 7th of March this year. Let's join Hawa Mosiri for more on this.
The late Paramount Chief Jonathan Baki Kabakabatoka III ruled Nongo-Babulon for 12 years after a landslide victory elections in 2010. He left behind his wife Michaela Agnes Toka and 8 children. He was born on the 15th July 1972 to the late Paramount Chief Jonathan Baki Kabakabatoka II and Madame Lucia Yemi Toka. He started his primary education at the Frobe College Primary School and furthered his secondary education at the Christ the King College, Sikesibo City. The late Paramount Chief's prime focus was to boost education in his chiefdom by building both primary and secondary schools, and also facilitated the construction of a modern hospital, provided solar electrification in Gbab and other towns which catered for his entire chiefdom. His demise was a big shock for most residents in the chiefdom and beyond.
If anybody is not able to talk other than me, I don't need for talk. Because you was my brother. My brother, we slept together, we ate together, we worked together, we cried together, we fought together. Oh yes, we were brothers.
Addressing mourners at the memorial mass, President Bio told his audience that he was in Nongo-Babulon with a heavy heart because in January this year, when he visited the Nongo-Babulon people to update them about his developmental strides, Paramount Chief Toka was also there and provided 2,000 acres of land for rice production. He expressed that he was in a state of shock when he received the sad news about his death. President Bio called on the people of Nongo-Babulon chiefdom to work and live in harmony and promised that his government will work towards all plans that the late Paramount Chief was yearning for in his chiefdom. Chief Minister Jacob Jesus Safana said the late man's move towards the development of his chiefdom, as he has done a lot for his people to feel at home, especially in the area of health and education. He echoed his agenda mentioned during their visit in January, including agriculture, especially rice production.
For go back for Richard, let's say the way from Madapara. Then finally, then put them to March 15th. We will not plan because the city president, you don't get assignment, you don't want to go late because we want to see what you will do. They're not going to want to grass starter.
The District Council Chairman of Bond District, Moses Pobe, described PC Kabakabatoka III as a hard-working man who wanted to see his people happy. Thus, during his time as councillor, he did everything possible for his ward to benefit. Chairman Pobe called on the people of Nongo-Babulon chiefdom to choose the right person to replace the late man.
And when the Bible says it is appointed unto man once to die, you can't forget it. You can't forget it. So now John Bass, he don't left to me and you. It's a lesson for me and you. Right? The preacher man talker, he said that message. He said, love your neighbor as yourself.
PC Toka's elder sister, Princess Toka, and the chiefdom speaker, Sheku Bumwai, called on the people to forgive the late Paramount Chief for his mistakes.
If my brother will hurt anybody at chiefdom, will not forgive him. Just like on behalf of him, and I will say goodbye, we will say goodbye to him. We're not able to begin a day and I will say goodbye to him. They're not wrong. When they will see him, they will family members come out abroad and come, they will see him.
Bishop Solomon Boima, during his sermon at the funeral mass, described him as a God-fearing man who also worked to serve and support the Latter-day Saints Church.
A man with strong faith, maybe get courage, a left motor man. Even at the church in the help. Always we tell me say, the church gets strong humanitarian effort. Why will not come back in? So those people with the less privileged, they not get food. who will make that farm, we will give them to.
President Julius Marabio, after the funeral service, visited gravesite of Paramount Chief Jonathan Faka III. May his soul rest in perfect peace. SLBC TV News are in Nangoba Bulom. How must be reporting from Tim Sogbeni Chiefdom.
Well, from that story, we now go back to one of our headline stories. National Security Coordinator, Office of National Security, Abdullahi Koka, has strongly warned residents of the Western Area Rural District to refrain from lawlessness, criminality, and indiscipline that lead to instability. The warning came at a time when low and its emerging communities have been assessed as a breeding ground for lawlessness and criminality, thus posing high security threats to the country. He made this strong statement during a security sector engagement with stakeholders of Oslo on the increasing state of lawlessness and criminality. Emmanuel Samuel went along.
Referred to as the gateway to the country's capital, Waterloo has now been observed as the breeding ground for lawlessness and criminality. Among the assessed prevalent crimes are land grabbing, drug peddling, youth violence, armed robbery, child trafficking, car theft, and others. The reason for such an engagement.
We get increasing rates of crime in this particular area and this particular region, and you understand the importance of this region. So we call now today for let me get frank discussion.
Chief Alimami Kamara, who represented the Sub-Council of Tribal Heads, WOTSI, denies the prevalence of lawlessness in Waterloo, but pointed fingers at emerging communities beyond Waterloo as violence-prone areas. The Secretary General of the Bike Riders Association, Ibrahim Jallo, acknowledged bike riders as lawless, but attributed such lawlessness to lack of education of majority of their members.
Indeed, yes, as we say, most of we default so much. But one thing we have from the president that some of we not well informed, some of we not get the education on how for use the streets.
The president of the Drivers Union, Alpha Amadou Ba, defended drivers to be law-abiding people, but pointed fingers at non-drivers to be catalysts of the illegal strike action on Monday that emanated from Waterloo. Amidst the frank discussions between the stakeholders, the chairman of Ward C, Cashel Olankole, recommended that a ban be put on the use of political party colors in school sporting events in the district.
We want to stop all political colors in school sports. That's the one issue that come up, very serious one, and this will be this year. The green and red don't become so political in the school level. Every other sports, even last week that tumble, stone up or stone, even Shujaman and Guru Motukara tumble, no faster than one away.
A ban on the importation of bikes, increase in the presence of security personnel and others were other recommendations Cashel Olankole made. Having listened to all of the causes and issues of violence in the district, Chief of Defense Staff, RSLAF, Lieutenant General Sule Ibrahim Sise, pleaded with the people to give peace a chance.
Not to threaten the people of Waterloo, but rather for appeal to them. Let them see reason for give peace a chance. The military, we are the number one people and we want peace in any country.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police, Elizabeth Toure, made a commitment to increase the presence of security personnel in the district and also promised to improve the local police partnership with the community to aid the police in information sharing. For the National Security Coordinator, Office of National Security, Abdullahi Koka, the engagement with stakeholders was the final stage and warned perpetrators to desist from violence in the district.
If you are divided, whether you are divided or not divided, the issue of lawlessness, indiscipline, if I stop, the day I was taking my oath as National Security Coordinator, that is what I promised the President. And I must make sure I follow it through.
Mr. Coker added that from the resolutions, they will draw up an action plan that they will use to tackle lawlessness and criminality in the district. Emmanuel Samoa, SLBC Freetown.
In case you're just joining us, you're watching news live on SLBC TV. You can be at which you can follow us on SLBC channel 31 on our Facebook page, and you can also do so by going to www.slbc.gov.sl. In order to create opportunities for adolescent girls to become more resourceful in society, Save the Children, with support from Global Affairs Canada, has officially launched a project known as Foundation Project. This is a project which will be implemented in 40 communities across 15 chiefdoms in Kailan district. Is geared towards strengthening adolescent girls' sexual and reproductive health and rights. Let's join Mohamed Kouma for more.
Young as they are, adolescent girls should be adequately informed about issues relating to sexual reproductive health. The lack of such knowledge usually results to teenage pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases. It is in line with that Save the Children, with support from Global Affairs Canada, officially launched the Foundation Project that is geared towards strengthening adolescent girls' sexual and reproductive health and rights. The 6-year project, which will be implemented in Sierra Leone, Niger and Mali, is to ultimately increase decision-making by in-school and out-school adolescent girls on their sexual reproductive health.
And I'm happy to note that this project that is funded by the Canadians contributes in one way or another to all the 3 breakthroughs. They contribute to survival. That is why there's that sexual reproductive health component. It covers it very well. Protection. That is why we are looking at the adolescent girls. And it also covers the 3rd aspect, which is education.
The project will target 40 communities across 15 chiefdoms in Kailan, and it will be implemented by Save the Children, International Rescue Committee and Planned Parenthood Association of Sierra Leone. The first health secretary at the High Commission of Canada in Ghana, Adam Loya, stated that Sierra Leone and Canada have built a working relationship over the years. He added that Canada had been supporting different sectors in Sierra Leone and that the Canadian government is ready to do more.
While Canada is not a resident, we're non-residents here in Freetown. We don't have an embassy per se. That hasn't changed our commitment to partnership as we support initiatives historically on agriculture, environmental protection, education, fighting COVID-19, promoting health, and addressing challenges such as child, early, and forced marriage.
Representatives from Ministries of Basic and Senior Secondary Education and the Ministry of Gender pledged their commitment to support the implementation of the project. Adolescents were very pleased for the initiative. One of them, Zana Bangura, expressed a gratitude.
We are already grateful to all of you to give us this opportunity. It makes us to be more than happy, because I've seen discrimination, I've seen abuse in the society, communities. It has been a lot for us to go to school, sometimes look at us and say, you don't deserve to become a lawyer because you're a girl. You deserve to be back. You deserve to be in the kitchen. Why that? We have to be in the front.
Young people are seen as agents of transformation and national development. Therefore, they should be prepared for such a huge task. SLBC, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone has engaged several stakeholders on the public inquiry into the conduct of law enforcement officers. The 8-month project started 2 months ago in all the regions, and it's aimed at getting dialogue with all categories of law enforcement officers, including Sierra Police, ASLAF, SLCS and FCC, among others. Cecilia Cisse witnessed the engagement at the Sierra Leone Peace Museum Special Court in Freetown.
Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone is charged with the mandate of promoting and protecting the human rights of all Sierra Leoneans. As a result, the Commission has been monitoring, receiving and documenting lots of allegations against human rights enforcement officers, LEOs, especially in the maintenance of public order. The Commission has therefore undertaken a public inquiry into the conduct of these LEOs. Hassan Sambayaja is the Commissioner for Response to Complaints, Investigation and Legal Services, Migration and Human Trafficking.
Of this is to let us all be on the same page, so they hear from us firsthand what this engagement or the public inquiry is all set out to do. Our public inquiry first is not prosecutorial. What we intend to do, nobody will be declared guilty or not guilty. We'll just raise the issues and put where liabilities are and make recommendations for reforms. From there, we'll engage the public as well. We will publish the report. First, we'll be giving a copy to the President and subsequently to Parliament. I will go back into those communities that we have engaged earlier, who have cooperated or contributed to the whole process, to tell them what the outcome is.
The project seeks to inquire whether LEOs use disproportionate force in the execution of their duties, contrary to the UN guiding principles on the use of force and firearms, among others. Similar engagements have been held in regions across the country. The overall goal is to get first-hand information to equip the Commission to make recommendations for legal reforms as to the discharges of duties of the law enforcement officers. Representatives from various unions, including bike riders, raised several concerns regarding the conduct of LEOs, which the Commission promised to look into in ensuring their human rights are protected. SLBC News are Cecilia Cisse.
Civil society organizations and Ministry of Gender have lobbied lawmakers to fast-track the enactment of the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Bill. The move was also geared towards getting first-hand information on progress members of Parliament have made so far on the bill. Our parliamentary correspondent Joseph Ture witnessed the event.
As we are all aware, the current bill, that is the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Bill, currently before Parliament, has been laid in Parliament, and we want it to be passed before the end of May this year. If this bill is enacted, can, among others, respond to one of the persistent calls by women's rights activists and their supporters, namely the 30% quota for women in elective and appointed positions.
These were among many reasons why such platform was held to canvass support of members of Parliament in seeing the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Bill being passed into law. Women consist about 12% in the current Parliament, a number many gender experts see as not too encouraging for women in politics. Since the bill was approved by the executive arm in July 2021 and was laid in the well of Parliament for the first time in October that same year, over 50,000 girls and women, CSOs say, have been engaged on the content of the bill. Campaigners have described the bill as a good document for the capacity of women in Sierra Leone and break barriers, especially in the political arena.
Today's engagement is critical to Plan International. It is critical to all CSOs who are represented here today. And I believe it is critical to the Gender Committee of the Parliament of Sierra Leone. And we believe if we ever needed this bill, it is now that we need this bill. And this bill cannot come to reality without the support of honorable members of Parliament. Honorable members, I believe we have his for she's in this Parliament. Therefore, as one voice, Plan International is joining every CSO represented here today to call on you to pass or enact this bill. We know that this bill, the enactment of this bill, will break barriers. It will break biases.
Chairperson for the Gender Committee, Honorable Zainab Tarawali, registered Parliament's commitment to see the enactment of the bill as the Legislative Committee is crossing the T's and dotting the I's on the bill.
With the Speaker's commitments, and with the leadership commitments, and with the Director General, Madam Tilda Fraser, the first Director General of Parliament, commitments, before June, we have a task in June. And what is that task? The Parliament of Sierra Leone will host the CPA. The Commonwealth Parliament will be hosted by us Parliament of Sierra Leone. And in that Parliament, we want to do a unique symbolic presentation for the CPA members overall that are coming, that we have made it. We have made it by passing the Gender and Women Empowerment Bill.
Various speakers, including those who are described as he or she, spoke to the conscience of lawmakers present, stating that the enactment of the Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Bill would serve as a legacy for the 5th Parliament. SLBC, Joseph Toure reporting.
In complementing government's free quality education, a team from Stadima Foundation comprising 12 German philanthropists in partnership with the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education have commissioned the newly constructed FSL Secondary School in Campbelltown, Wordslow. As Aminata Fofana reports, the school has facilities of 6 furnished classrooms, a library, cafeteria hall, modern toilet facilities, and other hygiene as well.
Campbelltown in Wordslow is a growing community in the Western Rural Districts. Hence, the constituents are in need of basic amenities, and the newly constructed FSL school will reduce the burden of pupils walking distance to access secondary schools.
Spacious classrooms, very nice blackboard, and few key. We have 6 for now, standard ones, with only 24 kids in one class. So it gives the opportunity for the teacher to interact very well with the kids. We also have a very good hall that can accommodate the whole school, that will be used to do their drama, to do their Thanksgiving, and so on and so on.
Deputy Minister of Basic and Senior School Education, Emily Gogra, cited that education is key to national development. She recalled that before now, pupils use motorbikes to take them to schools far away from the community. And this, she noted, most times is a recipe for teenage pregnancy. But the new school, Madam Gogra went on, will address this challenge.
We need people like you to help them. And over the years, you see, there is no school in this area, no secondary school. And the children face the hazardous situation of going to Freetown or going to the main line there, wherein they endanger their lives with motorbikes.
Chief Executive Officer of Stadima Foundation, Dr. Dietmar Schetter, stated that education is important for the children as it is the passport to a better life. He said FSL Secondary School will complement government's inputs to attaining quality education and ensure the children in Campbelltown contribute positively to society in the future. He admonished parents and teachers to encourage children to learn and pupils to focus on their academics. Deputy Minister of Energy, who also doubles as the Western Area Rural District SLPP Chairman, Dr. Eldred Tselo, commended the foundation for providing learning institution in the town. since it is in line with the government's Human Capital Development Framework, which looks into education, health and agriculture.
The free quality school education framework is firmly in line with our medium-term national development plan, which runs from 2019 on to 2023. And the medium-term national development plan articulates government development agenda. So if we are here today, we are going to be members or people who are witnessing the testament of part of the Human Capital Development Framework in this country.
German ambassador, among other dignitaries, expressed delight to the team from the Standema Foundation for this undertaking. He said, though the funds were not from taxpayers' money in Germany, yet it is a display of cordial relationship between Germany and Sierra Leone, adding that they are working to ensure they strengthen the education sector, provide employment through skills development, give medical attention and respond to emerging disasters. The ambassador concluded that they are looking forward to a brighter future with Sierra Leone. Beneficiaries expressed their satisfaction to the German team and MBSSE for the secondary school.
The school have trained and qualified teachers, and the school have lighting facilities, toilet facilities, and the sitting accommodation is free.
Others present urged school and local authorities to maintain the facility. SLBC News, Aminata Fofana.
You watching News Hour live on TV, and I am your host, Francis Walland. Catholic Relief Services has established university youth clubs for all the 4 regions to help popularize their Vision 2030 strategy. CRS hopes this will build the capacity of young people on key priority areas such as climate change and environmental protection, health, gender and inclusion. As Ibrahim Samura reports, the initiative was launched at the CRS head office in Freetown.
Knowledge is power is a theme for the university youth clubs, and the objective is to increase knowledge of young people in climate change, health, environmental protection, gender, among others. Students would also have the opportunity to be taught about Catholic Relief Services country program priority sectors. Catholic Relief Services country representative Paul Imen said CRS would be using the university youth clubs as a catalyst to provide mentoring and career coaching for university students. He said CRS launched its Vision 2030 development priorities last year, and the 10 years strategy will be focusing on promoting health, education, urban resilience and agriculture in line with government's development blueprints.
The University Youth Club is not only to popularise our Vision 2030 strategy in the way that we want to work to help government and people of Sierra Leone, but we would like to use this platform to build the capacity of young people in key priority sectors such as youth in climate change and environmental protection, gender and public health.
Deputy Minister of Higher Education Aziz Sajo Kamara said government welcomed the introduction of university youth clubs into CRS development portfolio, adding that the agency is one of the dependable development partners in the education sector. He said CRS was key in the rolling out of the school feeding program, which he said is a major component in the free quality education package.
I must commend this effort that is targeted at coaching and mentoring. We do know that our youths of today advance to university, they need a lot of emotional intelligence, they need a lot of communication skills, they need a lot of critical thinking skills, they need a lot that would empower them, that would program them for the world ahead. I mean, we're in the 4th industrial revolution, and I think we have to position our youth.
Deputy Commissioner, National Youth Commission, Emerson Kamara, said the initiative resonates with government's development agenda, noting that creating opportunities for young people is one of the cornerstones in the human capital development. A lecturer from Jala University, Augustine Kamara, said universities in the country have been longing for such initiative. Such move would help in making the universities visible. The university youth clubs will be meeting once every 2 months from March to September 2022 for career coaching and training, and it is open to all university students, but from a recognized university in the country. Ibrahim Samra, Freetown.
Well, from that story, it's now time for us to find out some of the news making the headlines in other parts of Africa. Well, for some stories making the headlines in Africa, President Ouattara of the Central African Republic celebrated his first year in office with a rally in the capital, Bangui. The president praised the improvement in the security situation and thanked Russian and Rwandan allies for their support. President of the Central African Republic, Faustin Archange Touadéra, said during a speech despite his difficult context, they are pleased with the improvement in the national security situation and the resumption of economic activities, thanks to the increased strength of the defense and security forces and the support of the Russian and Rwandan allies. Supporters of the President's party, United Heart Movement, also praised progress in the security situation. Kenya's Supreme Court has ruled against President Uhuru Kenyatta's plan to make broad constitutional changes, saying he had acted unlawfully. Known as the Build and Bridges Initiative, BBI, the government had sought to overturn its rejection by lower courts. It was a lengthy ruling on a number of technical issues by the 7 Supreme Court judges. Some points went in the government's favor, but in essence, the ruling means the proposal cannot proceed. A majority of the judges agreed with the lower courts that such changes to the constitution should be citizen-led rather than initiated by a head of state. They also said the creation of 70 new constituencies without public participation was unconstitutional, as well as creating more MPs. The idea had been to expand the executive to include a prime minister and deputy prime ministers. And finally, in the African news, Rwandan government denies supporting M23 rebels in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Rwanda's deputy government spokesman, Alain Mukugalida, denies accusations by the military of the Democratic Republic of Congo of Kigali's support for the revived M23 rebel movement in the east. He also denies that 2 men presented to journalists as Rwandan soldiers arrested during attacks on Congolese army bases were from the country. Defeated in 2013 by the Congolese army, the M23 has been in the news again since November, when it was accused of attacking several military positions. In particular, the movement blames the Kinshasa's authorities for not having respected commitment made for the demobilization and reintegration of its fighters. Well, that's all for news making headlines in African countries. It's now time for us to get some entertainment news.
Hello and welcome to the ENT News. My name is Daphne Kimamakole. In this edition, we're going to talk about how female producers joined the film policy campaign, and we give an update on the condition of singer Vida Green. Now, a few weeks to the signing of the film policy, Sierra Leone female producers are on pre-celebration for the good news. It has been said that the film policy would be signed before the Independence Day celebration, and some entertainers are campaigning for the signing of the film policy before the film festival, which has been slated for the 1st of April. Female producers in recent years have been performing exceptionally well in producing advanced and creative movies in Sierra Leone. For sustainability and unity, an organization has been established for female producers in the country. Well, for more on this, Maratu Dukure spoke to the Secretary General Alimatu Farakansise of the Sierra Leone female producers.
It's been the fact that we wanted to protect ourselves as female and also wanted to protect young girls that are looking up to this profession. So we see it fit that how can we protect ourselves? How can we create a better space for people that are looking forward to us? So we created something like this.
Now, she said as of now there have been 21 members in the organization. Khadija Tukamara is the president, Phoebe Twill is the vice president, and she is the Secretary General.
Okay, we've already set up the organization, but there are one or two things that we are currently working on, you understand, so the organization can be known. We're working on every other thing when it comes to registration, but mind you, most of us in the Sierra Leone producers, female producers wing, are from the registered AGSL, that is the Actors Guild Sierra Leone, and also Producers Guild Sierra Leone, which we are all operating from the Film Guild. Yeah, so we just thought it fit.
This, she said, is to strengthen female contributions to the film industry. And now, Vida Green, one of Sierra Leone's sensational singer, is still sick despite the efforts given by the First Lady. The campaign to raise money for her is still ongoing. One of her colleagues, LJ, posted a message on Facebook to inform his fans and all concerned that Vida is still sick and needs attention. The SLBC ENT desk is making strides to reach out to the family of Vida Green for comment, and we wish her speedy recovery. That's all in this edition of the ENT News. My name is Daphne Macaulay.
Many thanks to Daphne Macaulay with the entertainment news. Well, from entertainment news, we bring the curtain down for news hour. But before we go, our main stories. National Security Coordinator, Office of National Security, Abdullahi Koka, has strongly warned residents of the Western Area Rural District to refrain from lawlessness, criminality, and indiscipline that leads to instability. The National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, embarked on a project to construct its first district office at Mayamba. And Sierra Leone has been unanimously endorsed by the community of Sahel and Saharan states for its bid for a seat in the United Nations Security Council in the non-permanent category. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of the News Broadcast Live on TV. I have been your host, Francis Banner. Thanks for watching, and keep watching the SLBC. Good night and have a lovely evening.